Hi everybody. It's been a few weeks. I didn't post another video when I said that I would. I've had a long couple of weeks and definitely still plan on doing some drunk history for y'all and a few other things, but um, I wanted to talk about some things right now. I guess to do with I guess where I'm at with having graduated and planning for the future and all that jazz. So um, being out of school is weird because I have minimal responsibilities for the first time in years, and that's led to a strong lack in motivation, a little bit or a lot of apathy with making myself do things or just take care of certain things in general. I have been home a couple times in the past couple weeks. I went home 2 weeks ago to visit my wifey and my sister and go see some roller derby, do a whole lot of karaoke, and I had a blast. And then I went home last week to do a job interview. I was thinking about transferring from my store to the Austin area and spending my work weeks out there so that I can be closer to my friends there a little bit more often, and then spending my weekends here in Abilene. But I actually have gone ahead and decided against that because the Teach for America applications are opening on August 18th, and if I don't get into Teach for America, I might reconsider moving back to the Austin area, at least until kind of get everything together to be able to move out of state or possibly out of the country. But um, I would prefer to go ahead and get into TFA and start teaching and stuff, which the closer it gets, the more anxious I get, and the more I'm like, do I really want to do that? But I I know that I do. It's just the anxiety of doing something completely new or stepping out on a completely different path. Um, I have kind of had a strong desire to work with adolescents for a long time, like for at least half of my life, but um, I never really considered that would be in a teaching capacity up until the last few years, and now I like the idea a lot, but it was definitely not something that I was open to originally. I thought that my grandmother was out of her mind when she suggested it, but I realized I do want to work with adolescents in a it's always been in a mental health capacity, like as a therapist or something. But I think that as a teacher, I could have just as much opportunity to make a difference and stuff. And I really kind of have started to like the idea. It's really weird. I'm not I've never been good with public speaking or being in front of groups, and over the years I've had to get slightly better at it just to get by. Especially talking to people as a server for 12 plus years, bartender, restaurant manager. That was necessary. But I even kind of have this idea that so teachers in schools a lot of times will kind of bounce around between classes. Like typically history teachers are generally also coaches and stuff, and I think it's been that way for a long time because my grandmother was talking about it being that way back when she started teaching, which is how she was a history major who ended up teaching English. But I am looking into being either a history teacher or a social studies teacher, possibly psychology. But I know that the flip side of that is there might be opportunity to do some teach speech classes or whatever. And I kind of, when I thought of that, thought it was a really cool idea simply because I could not, I could barely pass speech in school. I was so terrified of speaking in front of people. And I think that as somebody who has been like that and then had to learn to talk to people, I think that it would be a great anecdote to kind of get more students motivated to look forward to their speeches or maybe relax a little bit. I don't know. I definitely know nothing back then would have made me relax. I did speech and debate, and the best I ever did for one of my oral interpretation pieces was when somebody walked into the room in the middle of my um, I don't want to say performance, but I guess it kind of is a performance. But somebody walked in while I was speaking my piece, and I didn't like really react to it at all. Which is, I mean, I live in a big family. I'm used to being walked in on in a variety of settings, so I definitely wasn't batting an eye at somebody coming in the door. I was only terrified of speaking in front of all the people. If there's a distraction, then that's great for me. So that was actually the best I ever scored in competition, simply because I'm good at ignoring distractions sometimes, even though I am a mega distraction at times. But for the most part, I was just always so nervous and anxious that um, everything but the kind of speaking went well. Whether it was like my voice wavering or stumbling over my words a little bit or just not really being able to look at people. So I like the idea of possibly teaching speech classes and doing stuff like that as a teacher. Definitely want to do high school. I don't really like small children, slash don't really have much of a good rapport with them sometimes. I mean, I'm sure I could. I get along with the ones that are related to me. I children make me uncomfortable. And then middle schoolers are fucking horrible. Like somebody told me recently because I was thinking about middle school, and they were like, "Nah, that's probably the worst group." And thinking back to middle school, that was probably some of the more traumatic of the traumatic experiences in my life. Like they definitely weren't nice kids. I don't assume that anything's changed in the last 20 to 20-ish something years. But that's kind of it for what's going on in my life right now. I am really nervous about Teach for America. I'm kind of really looking forward to the process, though. I'm looking forward to finding out whether I am going to get in or not, because at that point I'll be able to go ahead and decide what's next. Like, am I getting ready to relocate and start this program, or am I going to go ahead and look into sticking with HEB for a while, transferring stores maybe, and going back to school for my master's, or trying to go through teaching certification a different way besides Teach for America. Unfortunately, in Texas, um, while you can teach with a bachelor's degree in any subject, it's only if you earn that bachelor's degree in Texas. And because I did school online with Grand Canyon University in Arizona, I don't have a Texas degree, so I have to go through teaching certification to be able to teach. Um, Super fun, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it. There are a lot of things going on in life right now that I'm not talking much about. Some changes are coming that are going to take some getting used to and stuff, but it's definitely still in the process. And that kind of brings me to the last part of my video. I wanted to go ahead and share more poetry with you because obviously I'm a motherfucking poet, and what's a video update without a poem? Um, Slash, I mean, the whole purpose of this is to become more comfortable with sharing, like sharing my writing versus like more than anything. So, like a lot of my poems, this doesn't have a title yet. I should probably go back and title some of these bitches, but it'll happen at some point. One of the greatest feats in life is becoming who one is, self-discovery, actualization. It takes battling through the strife, hurting, healing, and self-determination. Discovery of the self is so hard when each day is rife with struggles, with pain, and it's hard not to approach life with dissociation, derealization. Rarely do we get to enjoy life without some chaos and reorganization. If your expectations include anything going awry, you understand the risk in participation, but if you expect everything to go all right, then maybe you're in for a surprise. Because, darling, the universe does not cater to our expectations. I'm here now with my best advice. Remember the necessity of communication. Speak your truth without hesitation. Know your value in love without reciprocation. Last, live your life with anticipation. that you will know yourself and you can master the challenges of life, the pain and the strife. You were born with the right to overcome grief, to thrive. So, I'm kind of like a little bit of a rhymer, slash like slightly rhymer, and like not all of my poetry rhymes, but if I'm kind of like in my creative space in my head, it can come somewhat naturally at times. It's kind of weird, but that's probably because I've been writing for so long. Um, I am going to let y'all go. Everybody have a great week. For me, it's the weekend. I'm so excited. And I will be back next week.